I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and this is News and Week in Review. We're going to be diving into a bunch of assorted news pieces, the Week in Review, what I played, all the videos, all those things. But let's go ahead and dive into this, starting off the bat with a few news pieces, starting off with Gears of War from Steamforged Games. They've announced that they have a Gears of War the card game coming to retail, Kickstarter. It says it's due to land this year, which makes me think it's retail. Ultimately, we'll see. But Gears of War the card game coming from Steamforged Games. That's a nice little tidbit there. We also have a fun article over on Board Game Geek that kind of answers a question I frequently had about why publishers very often choose, not very often, publishers will sometimes choose games that are rated okay and reprint those games. They'll take a game that's rated a 6.7, a 6.5, a 6 point whatever, and then reprint those games, which often to me feels like an uphill battle. Although it's an uphill battle that has been done successfully at times. We've seen companies like, what's it called? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking the name of the company, but Atlantis Rising from Elf Creek Games. They took like a 6.7 and they made it an incredibly popular game with a few tweaks. We've seen Restoration Games do the same a lot of the time. But there's an article from Zuvadis, which is a reprint of Reina Knizia's Cruvadis, I believe it's pronounced. But they're reprint. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so they're reprinting that one over here with Zuvadis coming to Kickstarter as part of another, Zuvadis as well as one other game or something like that. Reprint, changing it to a, animal cutesy theme, making some small gameplay changes. It's an interesting article on the thought process behind why picking up a 6.5. I recommend it. I think these things are interesting to read through. From there, we also have the Isofarian Guard. This one is a unfortunate news update. We've seen a lot of these. We are used to these by now, unfortunately. But the Isofarian Guard, basically they put in their most recent update, if I can load this over here, it's not loading, we'll have to deal with that, but they basically had one of those, hey, shipping costs more than expected, and we're asking anyone who can contribute, if you're able to, it'd be greatly appreciated. It doesn't seem like a must contribute, it seems more like if you can contribute, although there's art prints and other things like that. They do have a box that is absolutely insane for the price point that many people paid for. You're basically talking about a box that's bigger than the size of Frosthaven for the price point of like $80 from the original campaign. So it's definitely a whole lot of content you're getting. But yeah, if you want to help support them, if you are a backer, feel free to check that out. Check out the update. I'll link to all of these things down below. And also later, at some point in the next few weeks, we'll have some content on the channel around the Isofarian Guard as we go through a pre-production copy. So we'll have an opportunity to see all that unboxed and talking more about the game. From there, we have the Isofarian Guard. That was the link over there. Then we have over here on Board Game Geek, we have the Gama and the Spillwormus and the FIJ. I don't know what the FIJ is, some convention. But we have
Full Metal Jacket.
It's not FIJ is Full Metal Jacket. It's not Full Metal Jacket.
It's totally that.
But we have basically the preview list is up, 116 titles. If you want to take a look at some of the things that are coming out, including God's Forge, Return of the Dragon Gods. That's not God Tier, that's God's Forge. We have Forges of Ravenshire. That's going to be coming soon. I've actually seen and played that one. Tribes of the Wind, Castles by the Sea, After Us, City of the Great Machine. A whole bunch of games coming out. Evolution. We have more games and more games and more games. Feel free to check out these. Whole bunch of publishers, but if you want to check out some of the upcoming games for 2023, we already have this list over on Board Game Geek. And then lastly and finally, oh, I know what happened. We had a mistake over there. We'll have to deal with it. The double Isofarian Guard is the fact that we had blueprints from the blueprints of Mad King Ludwig from Bezier Games. That I'll have a link to that down below, but that was supposed to be that link. It got overwritten apparently. But past that, and lastly, we have Marvel United. An announcement from Marvel United. This is specifically, if you already know that there's a Marvel United, multiverse coming to Kickstarter, great. This is not that update. Rather, we have Spider-Geddon setting to swing into retail. They're switching up
there.
Swing into retail. I read from there. I read. That wasn't my joke. I didn't even get it. Didn't even get it. No. But yeah, it's smart. They're shifting up how they approach it. Instead of having a core set, Marvel United in the past, they've done their Kickstarters, and then they have a core set that shows up at retail, and you backed it. They're not doing that. All the content in the Kickstarter is not going to be showing up at your Walmart or Amazon in a retail copy. Rather, they are going to be putting Marvel United Spider-Geddon into retail. But if you want that, you'll have to get it at retail. You will not be able to get it in the Kickstarter. So now they're now completely branching it off. So make sure to stop by your local Walmart or Target or whatever at some point so that you can get your hands on Spider-Geddon, the core set, if you want to get all the Marvel United content, because I'm sure the 3 Kickstarter campaigns you've backed aren't quite enough. And that's what we have as far as the news in the week in review. Let me just pause this over here. And then from there, let's go ahead and dive into, well, the topic of the week. Topic of the week, which I had a topic of the week, and then I changed it, but I left my topic of the week note up. Oh my gosh, what was the topic of the week changed to? I don't remember what it was changed to, so we're just going to go with what it was. I have a note, and I remember what the note... We'll dive into the topic of the week. Topic of the week is why top 100 lists are the best. Why you should watch top 100 lists from your favorite content creators or whatnot. And yes, we did just finish doing our top 100 list. Dice Tower's about to dive into those.
Seems like heavy marketing, man.
It's heavy marketing.
Sleazy.
But I believe that top 100 lists from your favorite content creators are the best way to get your hands on new content. And the reason I believe that is because at the end of the day, content creators do cover the new stuff a lot. It's the nature of what we do. We cover the new stuff, we talk about the new games, hopefully with a degree of criticism and actual review and all those things, hopefully, but like, you know, it's covering and showing attention to the new stuff. It is very easy and very frequent for you have a situation where I'm like, hey, I just played this game and I really enjoyed it. And then it leaves my collection a few months later because I did really enjoy it, but not as much as these other games that have managed to stand the test of time. I think the very nature of being a content creator means that you are inherently showing people new stuff. Even if you are being mildly positive on it, mildly positive is still positive, and that's for good reason, because there are a lot of good games, and a lot of good games keep coming out. But I do firmly believe that top 10 lists in general, and top 100 lists for sure, do a good job of really showing you the content creator's favorite games. If you really want to see what games stand the test of time, if you really want to see the games that are the best of the best for any particular content creator who you feel your taste resonates with, top 100 lists will give you that information in a way that a review never really will. Sure, this game I just covered is good, but did it make its way into my top 100? No, because the top 100 for me, I rank my games based on a 5-point scale. Most games don't really get below a 2.5. It takes a lot to get below that. So you're going to be looking at between a 2.5 to a 5, and the most typical range is going to be closer to a 3.5 to a 4, or a 3 to a 4 almost is the most typical range. But that game that I just gave a 4 may not be in my top 100, because my top 100 has around 35 or so 5 out of 5s that I have out of all time. We have around maybe another 30 or 40 4.5s, and then around 24s made their way into my top 100. Most 4s don't make their way into my top 100 because they're good games, but I'm trying to pick the best of the best of the best. And if you want to see that, if you want to see the content creator's favorite games, whoever it is, whether it's my list, whether it's a Dice Tower, whether it's a million other lists, the Brothers Murph put out a top 100, bunch of other channels that I don't know offhand put out their top 100. Lots of other channels have done their top 100. Sometimes some do it every year, some do it some years. But there's a lot of coverage for games that comes out all the time on a regular basis, but it doesn't give you a full encompassing picture. It gives you a localized look. Dice Tower approved, Dice Tower approved, Dice Tower approved, which is such a meaningless stamp. And I don't mean that with any criticism. It's the same meaningless stamp that a 3.5 out of 5 gets from me. When I give a game a 3.5, I'm like, hey, I enjoyed this game. This was fun. 3.5 out of 5. Almost always that game is leaving the collection after. Because 3.5s are, hey, I had a good time. Not, hey, this is where I want to spend my time when I have limited time in a lot of games. And so if you want that isolated look, sure, watch a review. But if you want that full picture of the best in either in a category, when you do the top 10 family games, top 10 solo games, top 10 cooperative games, top 10 games to play while you're sitting next to somebody else who's not really responding to what you're doing. Any of those lists at any given point do have their...
Field targeted.
That was not targeted.
That wasn't targeted?
Did you just respond to me?
Sitting next to you.
Did you just respond to me right now on what I'm doing?
Yeah.
So how could that be about you?
It seemed to elicit a response.
I don't know what you're talking about. But I recommend top 100 lists. I recommend watching them. Whether you watch the full entire thing, whether you watch the top 20, the top 30, the top 40. If you really want to get a picture, that's the thing you should be paying attention to. And there are people out there on Board Game Geek threads who consolidate that information, who will consolidate the top 10 of the year. Like, you'll say top 10 games of 2022, and there are lists out there that consolidate all the content creators and say, not only is this, Alex Radcliffe's top 10 games, but rather, if you look at this list shows you the most picked top 10 games from all the content creators. Not that a content creator has any specific specialness to them, it's just somebody else who got to stand on camera, and you, over time, hopefully you've learned to identify whether their tastes resonate with you or not. It's just one of many opinions out there in the multiverse. Speaking of which, Marvel United is coming to Kickstarter very shortly. I don't get sponsored for that. That was on me. That was on me. So, that's basically my topic of the week. Top 100 lists are good. Watch them. Save your time. Skip on the reviews. Reviews are a waste of time. Not a waste of time. I'm exaggerating. Reviews are great for when you want to know about
90% of my channel is a waste of time.
No. I put out 14 videos a week. 5 of them are reviews.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I feel like you just review so many compared to me that I feel like it's
5 a week is still 5 a week.
That's a lot.
But anyways, my point is, I think reviews are great when you want to know information about that game. I think they're less helpful when it just pops up into your feed about an ambient thing that you may or may not have cared about. And with that, let's move into the week in review, starting off with what I played. If you give me a second to pull up my draft over here, because it's all of my drafts. I have not logged my plays recently. So, starting off the bat from, oh my gosh, I played a lot this past week. Starting with the bat with last Wednesday, we played Patchwork, then we played, oh no, I forgot, I'm doing Targeted, I'm not doing everything. I changed the way I do my week in review. I keep forgetting. I used to talk about all the games I played without a lot of detail, and then as of last week, I started doing that. I talk about select games that I played with more detail.
More detail.
Yeah,
I like that.
So instead, it's just because I was just rattling through it. I'd be like, I played Patchwork, I played Gloomhaven, I played this, I played that. Okay, and it wasn't really a very interesting conversation, I thought. And so now I changed it. Now I'm picking select titles.
I like that.
So
can I select them?
No. Maybe. Which one do you want to select? Which one do you want to select? So we have
out of all
starting from Wednesday.
Starting from Wednesday?
Yeah, pick a game.
I want you to talk about... Ooh.
Which one?
I want you to talk about Street Fighter.
Okay, Street Fighter. Pick 3.
My City.
Street Fighter, My City, okay.
And then just because we just played it, I want you to talk about Framework.
Okay, you picked 3. I'll pick one more. I said pick another 3. I'll pick one.
I think that your thoughts on the new expansion would be interesting.
Excellent. Done. Okay, so starting off the bat with Street Fighter. Street Fighter from Colossal Games and originally from Blacklist. Colossal Games picked it up. Street Fighter I dove into again this past week for the first time in physical form. It's over there next to Devin's head up there. Don't grab it. Just leave it alone. Leave it alone. It's all good. It's all good. Don't mess up the shelf. Don't mess up the shelf. I will stab you. You know I can. But Street Fighter is a game that from Colossal Games that brings you the Street Fighter characters as you try to combine a specific stance deck and their specific abilities, and then try to take out the baddies. It's difficult. One of the things I like about it is that it is difficult. Now, it's interesting because I really enjoy the gameplay, but I don't know. This is a great example of those conversations where I really enjoy it, and yet I'm not yet sure whether it's a long-term staying in my collection game, or hey, I really like it and recommend the game, but I'd rather play Marvel Zombies or something like that. And part of the problem is, and I need to play it more, I need to find out more, but so far right now, it is very single shot in what it's doing. So you're playing a scenario that's 45 minutes long, and it doesn't feel that different scenario to scenario. I very much enjoy it. The gameplay is hard, it is challenging. You really have to work together with other players, whether you're playing it solo, with other characters, or whether you're playing it with other players. You have to work together to take down the baddies, and you don't have a lot of room for error. You have to be very tactical about where to expend your extra your experience points to level up, to use them for rerolls and things like that, and then try to figure out what pressure points to actually take or how much damage you can sustain. I think it's really solid. I think it's really hard, really competitive, and it's just generally a good time. I think if you like the Street Fighter's IP, it is an easy recommendation. For me, I have no affinity to the Street Fighter's IP, and that combined with the fact that it's very single shot in what it's doing, and it doesn't feel drastically different game to game, means I both really like it, and also I'm not yet sure where it lands. I'll have a review coverage of it, so we'll talk about that then, but yeah, that's Street Fighter. From there, you wanted My City. My City is an interesting one. We're going to have an upcoming video coming up soon about the top 2023 games that we are most looking forward to, and My Island is on that list. I'm not going to say where it's on the list, but it's on the list somewhere. And the relevance of that is it's on the list pretty high up in some cases, at least for myself. Part of that, and over games that I think are better games.
What it would look like to be on an island and to see massive hexagonal building blocks hovering above you?
It would be terrifying.
I don't know.
Terrifying.
So scary.
Yeah, terrifying.
So scary.
My Island, I ranked higher in my excitement for My Island over Iridia, the Paths We Dare Tread. And a part of why that is because of the accessibility of it. There is something compelling and special about knowing you'll dive into a game, about knowing you'll play it. My City is a game that I've played through the campaign 3 times now. I've played through the campaign 3 times, sometimes on Board Game Arena, sometimes physically. I'm diving into it for the 4th time already, and that's because it's just simple polyomino fun, where you start off, you play a mission, you play 24 games, and 24 games constitutes, they're each 20 to 30 minutes per game, but you go through it and you just play game after game after game, and it's so easy to go through it. I recommend it because of the cheap price point, the fact that it is legacy, sure, it has a legacy element, you'll destroy things, it has an eternal mode, sure, but I don't play with that. But I think it gives you such consistently good, accessible fun that when you're sitting there, or when I'm sitting here and I'm playing games like Frosthaven and Gloomhaven and Oathsworn and tabling these big behemoths of a game, sometimes it's nice to be able to just pull a game off the shelf and knock out 4 or 5 games in an hour and a half. It is just consistently fun. I think My City is excellent. Expect a review from that coming on the channel at some point shortly. You also mentioned Framework or Acropolis?
Framework.
Framework is one that I actually have a review coming up for shortly.
Is there only that mode, or are there like variants or extra
There's
things?
only that mode, but there's 2 other games in the same series.
What are they?
Uwe Rosenberg has a 3-game
Patchwork?
Nope. He has Sagani, Nova Luna, and Framework.
Is Sagani the sound or colored based one?
It has colors. I think there might be a sound theme to it, but I don't know.
I think it's the theme is like sound, right?
That's a stupid theme.
I think Sagani. I think I played that with you.
Oh, you might have
2-3 visits ago.
Yeah, so all 3 of them are in the same series, and they're all from Uwe Rosenberg. All 3 are different publishers. Framework to me is my favorite, probably because I think Framework is the simplest of them. Meaning they all have the same basic gameplay puzzle, but Framework I can get you up and running in like a minute and a half. And Sagani and Nova Luna have like extra rules you have to be aware of. Like Nova Luna has a track that's kind of like Patchwork, where the person in last place, and there's a currency system, and it works. And I think it might make it arguably a slightly better game, but it means that for a lighter experience, there's more of a rules overhead. Sagani I think is very clever in how it operates, giving you, because it points to like a distance of range, which is very intriguing. And I like all 3, by the way. I own all 3, but I think Framework is my favorite. I'll have a review on the channel for it shortly, but ultimately to me, Framework gives you a simple, compelling puzzle, plays in around 25 minutes, teaches in like 5 minutes, you get people up and running in 4 or 5 minutes, and it's just a simple game of trying to accomplish goals, and every tile you take is both accomplishing a goal while also helping you give you a goal. So it's giving and accomplishing at the same time, and the way you combine them all has this fascinating effect where you spend the first half of the game and you get like 3 of your goals done, and the second half of the game you just knock the rest out because every tile starts cascading in how efficient and effective it is at making multiple things score for you. I think it's an excellent, very compelling, very simple, very engaging puzzle that I really like. What was the last game?
Expansion, Epic Mode.
Dune Imperium, that's what it was. Dune Imperium, I played Dune Imperium Immortality for the first time, and I thought it was totally okay. Yeah.
That's why I wanted you to talk about it.
Yeah, I'll have a full review of this after I play it a few more times, but Dune Imperium Immortality, I played it for the first time last night, and it was fine. I have no complaints against it, none whatsoever. It adds a few more cards to your system.
To be fair, I think that part of it is also not just playing the game with the expansion. Yeah. I think it's the direct comparison to how much you like Rise of X.
Oh, I think, so that's the thing, I was going to talk about that. Rise of X, to me, Dune Imperium is a great game, period. Rise of X took it from a great game. Like, I had it, like, when I first played Dune, I think I put it at around top 100, like, it was around 80 out of my top 100 the first year I played it, and then I played Rise of X, and it jumped to, like, number 12. I think Rise of X drastically changes the gameplay loop for me, gives you a lot of compelling systems, and to me, it incredibly enhanced the Dune experience in such a powerful way. And then Immortality came along, and I was like, I feel like I could basically ignore this expansion. I feel like I could play with the expansion and ignore its existence, and I don't feel like I'm missing out or losing out. It introduces some new cards, which are fun, but they don't feel particularly powerful or compelling. It introduces a new track to move up, which is okay, but again, not particularly powerful or compelling. It introduces some new cards to your regular decks. That's my favorite part. My favorite part is the new cards introduced to your regular decks. I think, to me, Dune Imperium Immortality, the way I would give my opinion of it as of right now after one play, keep that in mind, is that I think if you are a completionist, you should get it. It doesn't do anything bad to your game. It does not make it worse. You may as well own it. If you are not a completionist, save your $30. I don't think it really enhances the gameplay to me. I need to watch other people's reviews. I'm curious about watching other reviews because I am always fascinated, because this is like one of those times where I'm like, I didn't care, and then I'll pop on like Dice Tower and I'll be like, Seal of Excellence, 10 out of 10, like, and I'm not, I mean like critically, I mean that sometimes people have different opinions in the ways they vibe into it, and I know, for example, that even with the people we played it with, there are different levels of opinion as far as how much how engaged they were with Dune Immortality.
Yeah, I think that I'm somewhere in the middle of you and Travis.
Yeah. Well, Travis is wrong about everything. Hi, Travis. I love you.
You guys went to bat last night. Arnak versus Dune.
It wasn't Arnak versus Dune. He started with Arnak versus Dune. I'm fine losing that fight, but then he proceeded to be wrong again after again after again.
I think for me, the biggest part of Immortality is not. I think it gives you another track out. In terms of influence building for victory points, which is okay. The biggest thing for me was the graft cards. Having the ability to combine 2 cards and then have the option of using all of the icons and then combining and using all of the action row. Yeah. I think that was really cool, especially if you combine it with what I
fair,
tried to do.
I did say my favorite part about the Dune Imperium expansion is the new cards.
Yeah, but to me, it's not even just getting new cards to have new combinations. It's particularly that graft thing, because I was combining a lot of card drawing with the graft cards, huh?
Did you win? So it's not a very effective strategy, is it? Anyways, I think it's okay.
I'm gonna better than you.
I'm gonna keep playing with it, but I don't think I am particularly impressed with it. With that, with those 4 games as our games I played, let's move on into the weekend review. Starting off with Saturday. This past Saturday, I played a game. Oh, well, not played a game. This past Saturday, I reviewed a game called Fire and Stone. Fire and Stone from Pegasus Bill. I thought it was okay. It was a little on the lighter side for me and not compelling enough. I thought it was okay. Then we had, later on Saturday, I reviewed Gartenbau from 20th Century Games. I really enjoyed it in some elements, but also had some balance concerns around some tiles feeling particularly powerful. Really enjoyed it. It's a solid game. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Then on Sunday we had a comparison video, a conversation around Gloomhaven Digital versus Gloomhaven Physical. Just which one's better, what do you like, what do you not like. This was together with Professor Meg, who has played through Gloomhaven like 2.5 times now, and then myself, who's played through like 100 hours of Gloomhaven, still haven't finished it though. But basically, having a conversation around digital versus physical, the different elements that are better about each, and ultimately which ones we both prefer. Then on Monday I had a Games Leaving the Collection video. This is, as you might imagine, a Games Leaving the Collection video. It was me going over all the games that I did a larger purge for the end of the year. There's more of these coming. There's a few more videos coming as far as purge videos going. End of the year, trying to clean things up. But I did a somewhat larger purge as far as just getting rid of a lot of stuff. There's always things going to be leaving. I'm always trying to be more cutthroat. I'm always trying to sit there and find the opportunities and excuses to play the best freaking games ever, meaning things like Dune and Lost Ruins of Arnak and Terraforming Mars. And I want to play the best games, and I don't want to play good games, so I'm constantly getting rid of good games. See my previous entire conversation around top 100 lists. But that was Monday's video. Then on Tuesday I had a few videos go up. We had a review of 4 party games. We had CV and something blocks, whatever. We had Green Team Wins and Pinpoint, I believe. I believe those are the 4 party games. I just went over those 4 party games, talking about the pros and cons of each one. Ultimately, I am less of a party game person. None of those 4 games are staying in my collection, but all 4 of them were enjoyable to different degrees. Yeah, I think all 4 were enjoyable. I enjoyed all 4 of them to different degrees, but ultimately I don't think they're going to be vying or competing with games like Codenames or Monikers for me. I have a small selection of party games, and I keep them to be the best of the best.
So you weren't as hype on Green Team games?
No, Green Team Wins. Green Team Wins is really solid. In fact, I actually gave it away specifically to somebody who asked for a recommendation for a party game. I was like, this is a good one for what you want. The problem is their recommendation. They were like, I want a party game to play with my family, and that's going to be like 11 people. And I was like, this is an excellent choice for a bunch of people who are non-gamers that is going to be a good, enjoyable experience. I think Green Team Wins is great.
For 11?
There's 11 people. It plays up to 12.
So if you have I'm thinking of like party games like I do at my Thanksgiving with my extended family. Like I did Monikers this year, and it was really successful.
So that's the thing. So for me, it's very rare that I have that situation. It's very rare that I have a situation that has like 6+ players playing a lighter party game.
Yeah.
And so for me, I don't need a lot in that
Would
category.
Green Team Wins be good for that?
Green Team Wins is good for that.
Okay.
I have Monikers, and that situation happens to me maybe once a year. That Monikers is fine. I don't need 4 party games. But Green Team Wins is really solid. Same thing with Pinpoint. Pinpoint's really solid. CV, not CV. What's the overlapping circles? Not CV. Venn diagram. I think I said CV earlier. Venn diagram. Venn diagram is arguably the one that I was least impressed by, but even that was still enjoyable. I just like other games more. Venn. Yeah.
I didn't like Venn.
You played it?
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, it's the one I was least impressed by, but I thought there were cool moments of being able to combine things. Like there are cool moments as you lay down the cards in the different Venn circles.
There's a decent amount of games now that are like games where you're trying to communicate something via art.
Yep.
And it's like my least favorite.
So that's the thing. So I got to me that was my.
And I got rid of Mysterium too.
So again, I think Venn I got rid of. Again, I got rid of all these games. Venn to me was the least impressive of them. I still enjoyed it, but I will always pick Dixit over it.
Like at Thanksgiving, we did a Deception.
Yep.
Murder in Hong Kong.
Yep.
And that was just like that went over really, really well.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, so that was Tuesday's video. Then later on Tuesday, we had a gameplay of Rove. Rove from Addicts Games, launching a Kickstarter at some point in 2023. But yeah, we had another gameplay. You can check that out. I've done one before. I'll be doing more because they're still constantly like changing and updating and constantly tweaking it. So there'll be more content around Rove, but that was Tuesday afternoon. And then lastly on Tuesday, we had a review of Great Western Trail. I'm doing a bunch of older game reviews that are going up slowly. Great Western Trail was this week's review. So enjoy that. I'll hopefully have content on Great Western Trail Argentina soon enough. Then on Monday, that's not true, Tuesday. Then lastly on Tuesday, we had a Chaos Stream. Chaos Streams, if you don't know about it, is sometimes when I have Devin and or Meg and or both of them, I guess and or includes both of them, and or Meg in town, we occasionally do something called a Chaos Stream, which is without any planning or any forewarning of any kind, we pop on and do a stream for like an hour. I juggled knives, check it out, and I wore a poncho. We all wore ponchos. It was a bit of a Chaos Stream.
I kind of like... To me, when we were when you guys were down visiting,
yeah,
and you were like, "I'm ordering ponchos,"
you thought I was crazy.
To me, it was like a bit.
Yeah.
It was like you're ordering ponchos, but like I genuinely, they were quite comfortable.
And I think you wore the least comfortable one.
Yeah.
Either way, we wore ponchos, we juggled knives. I got a comment on the stream saying, "I understand now why these are called Chaos Streams." That's fair. There's a reason they're called Chaos Streams. Then lastly, and I probably should update the thumbnail on that and do the thumbnail. I should do a thumbnail. Then on Wednesday we had what we backed in December. In general, once a month I do a video with Wiener where we go over the games we backed for that month. And this past Wednesday we did what we backed in December, covering all the games that we looked at. Didn't back that many actually. Managed to have a much more self-control month compared to November where I backed a ton of games. Then on Thursday we had Marvel United gameplay going up. That was with Travis, who's wrong a lot, Devin, Meg, and myself, and playing through... Travis might not like me after this video. Travis, I love you, really I do. Anyways, with Travis, Devin, Meg, and myself, we played through Marvel United. We got a few small things wrong, but we also, I won't say whether we won or lost, so check that out. But basically, Marvel United gameplay from Multiverse, like Marvel United Multiverse, like the new Marvel United, not the old one, just in case the old one's boring and stupid, you can get rid of it. The new one's super cool and has equipment, you should check that video out. But that was a gameplay that we went through. I'd enjoy, have fun. Then later on Thursday, we had Marvel Zombies unboxing. Marvel Zombies arrived that day and we wanted to play it that day, so I unboxed it that day. And then we put the video up the next day. So I guess it arrived Wednesday. And on Thursday, I did a video went up. And we did an unboxing of Marvel Zombies. You can check that out. And yes, there will be a gameplay of Marvel Zombies coming next week. So keep your eyes peeled for that. If you want to see a gameplay of Marvel Zombies and how we did or didn't win or not or lose or all those things, check it out. Also, there's going to be some weirdness in that video. I do recommend checking it out. It's something special. Then on Friday we had the 2022 games we need to play. Basically, this is a video going over all the games in 2022 that we have not played yet. Not all of them, the ones we most want to play. This is Devin, Meg, and myself just going over a bunch of games that we have not yet tabled, we really want to, from 2022. And there's some overlap. And there's trivia show in there. There's a little trivia show. I recommend the trivia show. Check it out. It's fun. Anyways, moving on to, that was Friday. Then today we have a few things. We're going to have a Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid. No, that's not true. Power Rangers deck building game review is going up today. And then later we're going to have Once Upon a Line upcoming Kickstarter campaign going up as well. So there's going to be 2 games. You can check those out. Those are going to be videos going up today. And upcoming this week, we're going to have a few things. First of all, we may have the 2023 titles we are most looking forward to. That's going to be Devin, Megan, and myself again. Going over the 2023 games we are, well, very interested in. Lots of overlap in that video. And also, To Back or Not to Back should finally be back. I think it's going to be a light week, but it will actually have that. It has been like 3 or 4 weeks since we had a 2 Back or Not to Back. Again, December is always a light month, but we should be back this Monday with 2 Back or Not to Back. It'll be shorter. It might only be like 20 minutes or 25 minutes, but at least we'll be covering Kickstarter campaigns again, or GameFound campaigns and all that stuff. Which brings us to the games on the table. As usual, a few games we want to talk about. These are the games I hope to be playing. We have Deep Shelf, which I played this week, and we'll be diving into it again. Hopefully, because
you got some deep shelves here, bro.
Got some deep shelves over here. We have God Tier, which Devin will definitely be teaching me because I want to play this one badly. We have a Homeworld Fleet Command, which one of us will read the rulebook.
That's the love letter from Chris.
Yes.
At Modifius.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you want to play it this week? 2-player game.
Sure. Yeah.
I just need to
it is 2-player?
It's 2-player.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yes, please, sir.
I started the rules. I didn't finish it. We'll get to it. Hopefully. Maybe.
You and I start a lot of things and don't finish it.
Yes, we do. And then Twilight Inscription. Twilight Inscription as well. That's another one that I've played this already. Devin wants to play it. And so we hope to be diving into that one after this. It might actually be after this. It's a possibility. And that's what we have. That is your week in review. Thanks so much for sticking around. Appreciate all of you. I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. Have fun. Have a great weekend. Play lots of games. And as always, I hope you have a good one.
Peace.